What's good, boys? Today's video is going to be about candlesticks. So this should be the very first video you guys watch if you're a complete beginner. So you probably don't know fucking shit. So we're going to talk about what the fuck a candlestick is and what it means. Okay. So there's one type of candlestick that you should know what it means. And it really doesn't really matter, but it's a doji candle. Okay. So for example, if you see a candlestick, and these are the wicks, right? If you see a candlestick and the body is like this, okay? This is symbolizing that this is a strong move. There is a lot of buying pressure or selling pressure, depending on this color, on where this candlestick is going to go, okay? So this type of candlestick really just represents that this is a strong move. We might continue in that direction because we have a lot of orders towards that direction. Okay, so this would be you can just call it like a strong body candle. Okay, so it's a strong candle. This is a weak candle, also known as a doji candle. All it really means is price is undecisive, right? We really don't know if we're going to go up. We really don't know if we're going to go down. We don't really know much. Okay, that's really the only types of candlestick knowledge you really need to know, and a little bit more. We'll go into it in a sec. But you really just need to understand that if it has a fat ass body right here, okay, that means that this is a strong move. Okay, now another thing we need to talk about. If this candle is green, okay, what that means is that price opened at the bottom of this candle. Okay, so really, at one point, this candle was actually red because you can see this wicket down here. So that means the open was here and the close would have been down here, meaning it would have been a red candle. But we ended up closing all the way up here. So the body of the candle represents the open and the close. The wicks represent just where price has been within that candle. Okay, so within this candle, we are on the 5-minute time frame, right? So within this candle, we went all the way down here, right? So this candle was red once, but then we went all the way up here, and we even went a little bit higher, but we closed right here, right? This is signifying that this is a strong bullish candle. Now, for example, if I were to delete this, that literally means that as soon as the 5 minutes was over, we literally closed at the very top. We did not go any higher than this. This is also another like it's also symbolizing that this is pretty bullish. Like we probably will continue higher. Right? Now, if this was a bearish candle, right, what does this mean? That means that price opened right here. It opened at the top. We went all the way down here at some point, right? Because that's where the wick is. We went all the way down here. But the body is right here. So we ended up closing the candle. After 5 minutes, the candle closed down here. So in 5 minutes, we fluctuated from here all the way down here. But we ended up closing down here. Now, a doji candle, like for example, like you can see right here, that just means that within this 5 minutes, clearly we didn't do much, which is another reason why we're symbolizing undecisive price action. Because you can see we didn't make any strong move anywhere, right? We don't know what the fuck is going on, right? So we really don't have a strong bias, okay? Now we can just go ahead and go into the charts with this. So you can see right here, we'll look at this candle right here. This candle, the open was right here. Right, we opened right here, and you can see there is no wicks above, right? So as soon as we open, we fucking shit, right? This candle was never once a bullish candle. It was never once a bullish candle. So you could assume now that, and we do get a pretty dick-sized candle. So this could symbolize that price is going to continue lower, right? And you can see even with the wick, we were all the way down here at one point. Right, but we closed right here. Now this one is an interesting candle, right? You can see right here that we opened right here because this is a bearish candle. We opened right here, right? We went all the way down here at one point, right? You can see by the wick. We were all the way down here at one point, and we were actually even a bullish candle for a second. We were all the way up here. So this candle literally would have been bullish. Like it would have looked like this. And that's a pretty fucking bullish candle. Like that's a strong body candle. But we ended up closing underneath the open price. And we ended up closing right here, making this a bearish candle. Right? Now, let me show you an example of a doji candle. So this would be a doji candle, right? Because you can see we do have this, like, price at one point was, we were fucking bullish as fuck. We looked like this. Fucking dick ass candle, right? But what happens? We close right where we fucking opened, right? We opened right here and we closed a little bit above, right? So this is symbolizing that, like, within this 5 minutes, yes, we did go all the way up here. Yes. But at the end of the 5 minutes, price is undecisive on where we want to go. This is symbolizing that at the end of the 5 minutes, right? We literally closed exactly where we opened. So in 5 minutes, we made zero progress, right? So clearly, price doesn't know where it wants to go. And it does make sense because we went up and then doji candle and then we went down. Let's find, maybe let's show. Yeah, so we can go ahead and look at a live candle here. So you can see this is on the 1 minute time frame. We have 14 seconds until this candle closes, right? 10 seconds now. See how price is moving within this wick? So we are bullish right now, right? The open price was right here, right? At some point, we were all the way up here, right? But the candlestick just now closed, right? We just formed a new 1 minute candle, and we ended up closing right here. Even though we were all the way up here at one point, we ended up closing all the way down here, okay? Now, this is not during market hours, so obviously, look at price. We're literally 15 seconds in and not a single pip has been moved, but so you can't really use that much. But let's see if the seconds, they probably, oh, shoot, you need a plan for the 30 second? I mean, I don't trade with it anyway, so. But you can see right here, we opened here, right? Now you can see price is fluctuating, right? You just saw we went all the way down here, right? But now we went back here, so that's why there's a wick now. Let's see. This candle might even end up turning bullish in the last. So you can see we have 10 minutes until this candle closes. Boom. Oh, we were bullish, now we're bearish again. But you can see price went back up a little bit. Let's see if anything happens in the next 2 seconds. Okay, no. And then the next candle is going to start. What the fuck? Is my chart tweaking? There we go. And see, we opened right here. Did you see that? Now, this is a good example of how price is moving, right? We opened right here. You saw it. We went all the way down here, and we were a bearish candle. But then we went right back to where we started, and then we even went up a little bit more. So this is showing, see? So now you can understand that the candlesticks represent, or the wicks represent, that's where price went during that time frame, right? But the close is what matters, okay? Once you get into more into the videos, you'll see that the closes is what you determine trades off of, right? So you can see, and this is obviously applicable on every single time frame, right? Candlestick's a fucking candlestick. So, like, this is a 1 hour time frame, right? So in 1 hour with this candlestick, we were all the way up here once. We were bullish as hell, right? Because this was the open. We opened right here. So this candle looked like this at one point, right? We were bullish as fuck. But then we shit the bed in the same hour, and we even went all the way down here at one point, but we ended up closing right here. Okay, and then the next candle, we opened right here. We were bullish at one point, clearly, because with this wick, but we ended up closing all the way down here. That's really it about candlesticks. You just need to understand what the wicks represent, which means that, like, the wicks represent, that's where price went during that time frame. So, for example, if we are on the 5 minute, during these 5 minutes, this candlestick right here, we were all the way up here and we were all the way down here, right? But then you need to understand what the body of the candlestick means, right? Since it's bullish, that means that we opened at the bottom and closed at the top. And if we're bearish, that means we opened at the top and closed at the bottom, okay? So you need to understand that the wicks represent, that's just where price has been within that time frame. The bodies represent the open and the close of that candle. So for example, at the beginning of the 5 minutes, we opened, and then at the close, that would be at the end of the 5 minutes, right? And then you need to understand, obviously, what a bullish and a strong candle and a weak ass candle. That's really it. For example, a strong candle would be a candle that doesn't have many wicks, right? It just means that, like, clearly, if you don't have clear wicks, that means, like, you opened and then you closed okay, for example, this This is good, right? Clearly we were bullish, but at one point we were bearish within this candlestick, right? So if we didn't have this wick right here and we open right here and we literally close at the high, I can nearly guarantee that the next candlestick will also be bullish, right? Because we literally opened and not at one point were we under. And not at any point did we even go a little bit higher, right? So this is the bigger the body and the smaller the wicks just represent the stronger the candle, okay? And the more wicks just meant that price moved a lot during that candlestick, right? And if you open right where you closed, for so a really small body like this candle right here, this is called a doji candle. Remember that. This just means that price is undecisive on where it wants to go. Same, this is a doji candle right here. 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 Y'all get the point. And then, for example, this would be a strong body. We opened right here, right? No wicks underneath. So at any point when this candle opened, at any single point were we ever fucking a red candle. Because we opened right here and we immediately blasted. And obviously we were all the way up here at one point, but we did go down a little bit. But at not any point were we a bearish candlestick during this 5-minute candle, right? Which represents that price is pretty strong. Pretty strong in representing that the next candlestick probably will be bullish. And it was, right? Now, this isn't really I never trade off of this. Never be like, oh shit, a doji candle, I shouldn't trade because price is undecisive. Or if you see this black candle, a strong black candle like this, and you're like, oh, okay, that means I can enter in for shorts. That's not what that means. Don't ever trade with that. Don't ever trade like that either. But this is just understanding what a candlestick means and how it moves, what the wicks mean, what the bodies mean, what each type of candlestick really means. Like, for example, this is a doji candle, remember, representing undecisiveness, right? And then we have a strong body candle right here, right? That's really it about candlesticks. There's not really much to them. Just really understand what the wicks represent, what the bodies represent, and then just remember what a doji candle is. And obviously, the bigger the body, the stronger the candle, but you really don't even need to remember that. Just remember what the wicks represent and what the bodies represent. That's really important. Remember where the open is or where the close is. For a bearish candle, the open would be at the top and the close would be at the bottom, right? Because that means we went down. And if we were bullish, we opened at the bottom and we closed at the top, right? Because we're bullish, we went up. Oh shit, I'm getting a call. But I mean, it's good timing because that's about it for real. Yeah, remember, never trade just using candlesticks. But if that makes sense, or it should make sense, but if it doesn't, just DM me or ask me questions or shit. I got y'all boys, and yeah, I'll catch y'all boys. See y'all.